If you've ever laid next to someone and wondered, why can't I just stay present? Why does my mind drift even when I care? Why does desire feel overwhelming sometimes and completely quiet at other times? Why do I feel intense connection and then sudden distance without meaning to? If you've ever felt confused about your own patterns, or guilty, or ashamed, because intimacy doesn't feel consistent, this is for you. Not to judge you, not to label you, but to understand you. Because ADHD doesn't just affect school, or work, or focus. It affects how your brain experiences pleasure. It affects how it regulates emotion. It affects how it handles stimulation. And intimacy is one of the most emotionally and neurologically stimulating experiences we have. So if it feels intense or unpredictable or complicated, there might be a reason. And that reason isn't that you're broken. It isn't that you don't love enough. It isn't that you're incapable of deep connection. It might simply be that your nervous system works differently, and no one ever explained that to you gently. Take a slow breath with me. Inhale softly. Exhale slowly. You don't have to feel embarrassed here. You don't have to pretend. Tonight is about clarity, calm clarity. Because once you understand what your brain is doing, the shame gets quieter. And when shame gets quieter, connection gets stronger. Let's talk about it. You may have noticed that intimacy doesn't always feel predictable. Sometimes it feels intense, sometimes distracted, sometimes impulsive, sometimes distant, and that can be confusing. So tonight, we're not judging it, we're understanding it, because ADHD doesn't just affect focus or productivity. It affects dopamine. It affects emotional regulation. It affects connection. And that includes intimacy. Take a slow breath with me. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. This is a safe conversation. Educational, calm, clear. Let's begin. ADHD is not a lack of intelligence. It's not laziness. It's not immaturity. It's a difference in how the brain regulates dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical connected to motivation, interest, pleasure, reward, novelty. When dopamine levels fluctuate, attention fluctuates, energy fluctuates, interest fluctuates. And that fluctuation doesn't stop in romantic relationships. It affects intimacy too, not because the person doesn't care, but because stimulation patterns shift. One common pattern is hyperfocus. In early stages of attraction, the ADHD brain can lock in intensely. The person may feel deep passion, high interest, constant attention, strong desire. It feels powerful, magnetic. But here's the psychology. Novelty boosts dopamine, and early attraction is full of novelty. Over time, when stability replaces novelty, dopamine drops, and that can feel like loss of interest. But it's not loss of love, it's loss of stimulation. That difference matters because many partners misinterpret this shift. They think they don't want me anymore, when in reality, the brain simply adapts and now requires intentional stimulation, not chaos, not drama, intentional engagement. Another common experience is distraction. ADHD minds wander, even during important moments, not because the person doesn't care, but because sustained focus is neurologically harder. Thoughts jump, sounds distract, random ideas appear, and that can create shame. The person may think, "Why can't I stay present?" But presence isn't about willpower. It's about nervous system regulation. When stress is high, focus drops further. So pressure makes it worse. Safety improves it. ADHD is also linked to impulsivity. Impulsivity can show up as sudden attraction, quick decisions, strong physical desire, less long-term thinking in the moment. This is not about morality, it's about inhibition control. The frontal lobe, which manages impulse control, works differently in ADHD brains, so emotional regulation becomes important. Structure becomes important. Clear boundaries become protective. Because impulsivity without awareness can damage relationships. But impulsivity with awareness can actually feel passionate and alive. The key is regulation, not suppression. Many people with ADHD also experience rejection sensitivity. Small signs can feel amplified. Tone shifts feel personal. Silence feels heavy. So intimacy becomes emotionally intense, sometimes very connected, sometimes very reactive. If someone with ADHD withdraws, it may not be lack of love. It may be overstimulation or fear of rejection. Understanding this reduces shame, and shame reduction increases connection. Let's calm this down. ADHD does not mean broken intimacy. It means different needs. What helps? Clear communication, less criticism, more structure, predictable connection moments, reduced multitasking during bonding time, nervous system regulation. When safety increases, focus increases. When novelty is intentional, interest stabilizes. When shame decreases, presence improves. If you love someone with ADHD, don't interpret fluctuation as lack of desire. Ask, are you overwhelmed? Do you need stimulation or rest? Are you feeling distracted or stressed? Curiosity replaces accusation. systems that support you, reminders, planned date nights, phone-free moments, breathing before reacting. Your brain is not wrong. It just needs structure to thrive. ADHD impacts intimacy because it impacts attention, dopamine, and emotion. But impact does not mean impossibility. It means adaptation. Healthy relationships are not built on perfect brains. They are built on understanding nervous systems. And when you understand the system, you reduce confusion. When confusion reduces, connection grows. Take a slow breath. Inhale. Exhale. You are not broken. You are wired differently, and different can still be deeply loving. If this helped you understand yourself or someone you love, save this for later. Come back when you need clarity without judgment. These conversations are about understanding, not labeling. Rest your mind now. Let your breathing settle. You're allowed to learn without shame. Good night.